Hi, Chef Matt here at the Roth Living Kansas City showroom, and today I'm going to show you how to make a toasted pecan and chocolate chip banana bread in the convection steam oven, okay? And we're going to use a mode called Convection Humid, which is going to do a really nice job of giving us a beautiful crust, and it's going to bake a little bit quicker than just the normal bake in your standard oven, okay? So we're going to start off with, we want to get the pecans toasting on the range top while we're doing this. Now, you could toast pecans on a sheet pan in your oven. However, for this small amount, just about a cup of some whole pecans, we don't really need to heat up an oven. Just pan toasting is going to be fine. We're just wanting to release some of the oils out of the pecans and toast the nut. It's going to pronounce the flavor on that in the actual loaf of bread. So let's start with, do you notice that I've got some things laying out here that look like they're measured out? So that's a key to putting something together quickly, is to go ahead and measure all your ingredients and make sure you've got the right amounts, and then it goes together very quickly. So measure first, okay? So let's start with those ripe bananas, okay? So you want your bananas to be very ripe. They're going to release as much sugar as possible, which is going to make your bread sweeter, okay? So those ripe bananas that you've got that, you know what, they're a little bit too dark to actually just enjoy as a snack anymore, they're perfect for a recipe like this. You actually want them nice and dark, okay? And we're just breaking those bananas in half because we're actually going to use a masher to break these up. Really simple technique. So we've got our bananas in the bowl, and now we're simply going to mash them a little bit. Okay, they don't need to be a pureed state, but breaking them up with that masher is going to make it really quick work. That's pretty much the consistency of a mashed potato, of a chunky mashed potato, and that's good. All right, so from there we're going to start to add our other wet ingredients. We've got some pure vanilla extract. We've got some yogurt that we're adding. Okay, just a plain yogurt or a vanilla yogurt. And then we're going to crack a couple of eggs and lightly scramble those or whisk them up a little bit so that those yolks don't try to stay together when we start to mix this together. So just a light little whisk with a fork on those eggs works really nicely. And that mixture goes in. Also, we've got some melted butter. All right, and all these ingredients will be on the recipe that will be shared in the link to follow. All right, so now we're going to whisk this mixture together. And as soon as that starts to come together and look like it really is nicely mixed, then we're going to add our sugar, okay? And that's going to get whisked in. And next we're going to do a mixture of some flour with some baking soda and some salt, okay? And if you don't have table salt, or the recipe I'm giving you is for kosher salt, and if you don't have kosher salt in your pantry and you're using table salt or sea salt, then just cut that amount in half, okay? Then we're going to add in our flour mixture, and from here, we can use our fork if we want. Start to mix that a little bit. Let's check the nuts and see. We've had that on a medium heat. Oh, if you had smell-o-vision right now, toasted nuts are so wonderful, very fragrant, and we don't want them blackened. We don't want them dark brown. We just want to release some of those oils. So I think that's good right there. That's done. We'll turn that heat off. Also, I did pull these out of the pantry. You know what, if you want to throw a twist on it, I love pecans, walnuts, pistachios will work good for this too. Really have some fun with those ingredients. Now, about halfway through getting our flour mixed in, we're going to add in our chocolate chips. Okay, so I'm using some dark chocolate, Belgian chocolate, as well as some white chocolate chips. So a little bit of the best of both worlds, the buttery goodness of that white chocolate and the nice dark chocolate mixed in. Goes really nice with the banana. And we're almost mixed, okay? We're real close. At this point, what we're going to do, we're going to grab that knife real quick, and I'm just going to do a quick little rough chop, if you will, on these nuts. They don't need to be finely minced. I just want to break them up a little bit so they disperse into the dough a little bit nicer. Okay, a little bit more even. So from there, we'll add those nuts in, and we'll finish by folding this in. Now, you'll notice I didn't say at the beginning of this recipe to preheat your oven, because when we're using the convection steam oven, there's no need to preheat for that baking cycle. There's not an element on the top or bottom of that convection steam oven, so there's no risk of this burning while it's heating up. So we have a 5x9 baking pan that has been buttered and then dusted with some flour, and that's going to create a non-stick barrier, if you will. And now, you see how nice and lumpy that is? That's what we want right there. Just scoop that in. I'm using a fork. You can use a spatula or whatever's handy. Okay. And from there, kind of even that out from end to end. Okay. And now we're going to put this in our convection steam oven, and we're going to place it on the rack. You could also place it on the sheet pan if you want, but this is going to allow air to really get around this. So we're going to wake up the oven by going to quick start, and I'm toggling over in controls to convection humid. Okay, and we're going to confirm we want convection humid, and we're going to do 325 degrees. So we just change the temperature to 325, and then we're going to set the duration of the time. And we're going to bake this for 50 minutes, okay? And then we toggle the control over to start, and we're baking, all right? So by trapping all of the moisture in the cabinet, a lot of times ovens will release some moisture when they're venting to control their temperature. In the convection humid mode, that oven traps the moisture in that oven cavity and uses it to help brown and to help cook what's in there. So this banana bread is going to come out beautiful. I'll be back shortly to show you the end result, okay? And we're back to find out how the toasted pecan chocolate chip banana bread came out. So we baked that off in the Wolf convection steam oven, and we're using a specialty mode called convection humid. And convection humid, once again, is trapping the moisture in that cabinet instead of letting it release. And that's going to help in browning, as well as when we have some moisture involved in that baking process, it's also speeding up the cooking process. So this banana bread that normally takes about an hour and 10 minutes is taking only about 45 to 50 minutes. So there's our timer, and we're going to go ahead and power off that oven. I checked it a couple of minutes ago before we came back, and here is our banana bread. Now, when you're done, check it with a toothpick. When that comes out clean, that means the center is baked. But we've got some beautiful banana bread that's nicely browned on the top. Once again, we bake that in a fraction of the time because we've trapped that moisture in the oven, and convection as well aids in it. Now, if you have a favorite banana bread recipe or zucchini bread recipe, and you want to play around with that mode, convection humid, I suggest from your original recipe, which might be 350 degrees, you're going to want to back off 25 degrees, because when we add convection, it speeds up the process. You're also going to want to back off on your time about 20-25%, okay? Just because you turned it down lower doesn't mean it's going to take longer. It's going to actually take a shorter amount of time because of that convection and with the moisture trapped in there, okay? So from here, we're going to let our banana bread cool on the baking rack for about 20 minutes, and then we can use a short knife to clean the edges to make sure that nothing is stuck. We'll invert that and let that banana bread cool for about a half hour more. That's about as long as the will last before we need to slice it and try it with some butter, okay? Thanks for joining me today, and for more content, please visit us on YouTube, Roth Living, or on Instagram. which is Roth Living Lifestyle. Thanks a lot and have a great day.